Bucka. You know the deal.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Can We Talk? This is your boy Eric, and I'm here with Anthony. We might have Nicole on the line coming up soon.
Yeah, she's calling in. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. We got a nice little intimate setting right here. I like it.
I like it, man. You know, I was just talking to you, man. I think we should have a new theme song, man. I just heard this song for the first time, man, and I think I ignored it when it was on and popping, but
Yeah, sing a little bit.
You know, just open up with some, when arms wide open. Under the sunlight, welcome to this place. I'll show you everything.
Yes, Creed.
I feel like that's a Can We Talk intro, but just use my voice.
You know what? That was my song back in the day, man. I remember, I think it was like the early 2000s, just like at night when the music videos came on MTV.
Yeah,
man, all the time. Just watch that. Sing along with it.
Look, that video looks so inspiring and over the top at the same time.
Yeah, but I think they have an underlining message, like a Christian message. So that's almost like a Christian rock band,
right?
But it's kind of coded. But yeah, man, that's the song. We need to switch that. Let's consider that.
I think when I was growing up, I kind of ignored them because I feel like, when I was growing up, I saw stuff like, Creed,
right.
Nickelback, such and such on top of the Billboard charts, and I was like, that's kind of white music.
I mean,
you know what I mean? But as I got older and I looked into it, I'm like, you know what? I like this.
For me, growing up, I always had an eclectic taste of music. Like I liked everything.
Really? That didn't happen for me until later.
It was weird. Back in middle school, I used to watch the country music television channel all the time.
Really?
It was weird.
Oh, I can't sit through that.
I used to watch
MTV. I just don't like country.
It was like some songs, not all of them. But as I got older, I was like, yeah, this isn't good. But man, Creed was one of the Lifehouse. I think it's called Lifehouse. They were good.
Some people like is it Switchfoot or
Switchfoot? Yeah.
Switchfoot, yeah.
Switchfoot, yeah. And then you had Nickelback. I used to hate Nickelback though.
Well, all the right reasons, as long as you don't diss that album. I like that album.
Man, but I'm telling you, man, I wish when you were young you'd heard that song because I mean you'd appreciated it now.
Yeah.
But I guess you got a better appreciation since you actually kind of.
Yeah. I think Scott Stapp and Shaq Kroger should start a group together, man.
Hey, we need to reach out to them. If y'all listening, man, let's get this group started because that'd be an awesome group. I'll listen to it.
They'd be best friends, bro. without question.
Wait, are they still alive? Wait.
Yeah, Scott Stapp's still alive. Chad Kroger's still alive.
Oh, okay, good. I was making sure because I know a bunch of people died recently, but
Scott Stapp was on Celebrity Couples Therapy.
Oh, I don't watch that. See, I don't watch that mess. Celebrity Couples Therapy.
It's entertaining. Yeah, my man kind of went through a psychosis. T.I. saved his life.
Man,
Scott Stapp was trying to end his own life.
Man, that's sad. T.I. saved a lot of lives, man. Back on ATL, the movie.
Right.
No, I'm joking.
It's real life, but okay. Let's move on.
I'm playing. Hey, so have you heard about this whole, and I'm sure you can't miss the whole Kavanaugh confirmation.
I knew you was going to talk about it, man. That's your thing, current events.
So it was crazy, man. Some craziness over the past week, and I'm sure everyone knows, you have Judge Kavanaugh who was running or appointed Supreme Court Justice. He had to go his confirmation hearings and all that good stuff. And obviously those allegations came out that he sexually assaulted a woman. And did you see his testimony, though, when he's in front of Congress? He was so angry.
I saw bits and pieces, yeah.
He was like, I like beer. I mean, who doesn't like beer? He got really out of line.
Kind of had a breakdown.
He had a breakdown. And I'm surprised that they still are considering him or that they voted him through to become Supreme Court Justice because he looks so impartial. He kind of looked like he was, he's saying stuff about the Democrats. And I'm like, you're a Supreme Court Justice. You can't have any political affiliation.
Exactly. Doesn't
make any sense. But he was confirmed last night, I think 50-48 in favor of him, and now he has been sworn in as the next Supreme Court Justice, and he will serve a lifetime commitment there. So, for better or worse, it's done. I think there's a lot of. It was a weird time. I think it was a weird time for the past couple of weeks where people were just up in arms, man, protesting, angry.
How do you feel about it? Do you think he should be appointed?
I don't. I don't think that. First off, if any allegation like that comes up, that's definitely discredits you, off the top. You are the highest court of the land in the United States, and you got a guy who allegedly sexually assaulted someone. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, some people try to say that, oh, well, you're bringing up something from the past that may or may not have happened. That shouldn't bring down something that's happening 20 something years later. I'm like, yeah, but justice does need to be served, though.
Right?
Even with, and I hated that this happened. Even with Birth of a Nation with Nate Parker, I hated that got brought back up, but justice needed to be served.
Yeah, and if Bill Cosby, who had a similar, but he had more allegations against him, and they were proven.
We gotta talk about Bill.
Yeah, but in that sense, in that case with Bill Cosby, those allegations were from the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and he was caught, and he's serving his time now. And so I don't really think there should be any statute of limitation. I think if you've done something in the past that's illegal, then you should be reprimanded for that. On the topic of Bill Cosby was sentenced to 3 to 10 years.
I believe so.
In federal prison. So he was caught. I knew he did it. There's no getting around that. Bill, he seems like he's a little bit of a creepy guy who puts stuff in drinks. But
yeah.
What do you think? Do you think he's going to serve the 10 years or 3?
I don't think he seems like that. I think that, when you got more than 10 or 20 people accusing you, then, somebody ain't lying.
Somebody's not lying.
I'm not trying to be a person that takes sample size on rape, but somebody ain't lying, man.
It's true though. Even if half the people weren't being honest, that's still 10 people who, were credible.
Yeah.
But his whole situation, it kind of shows you.
Welcome to the male ego show, folks. No, I'm just kidding.
But that situation shows you just how power corrupts, man. Like this guy, you grew up with him, you saw him on television. He always seemed like this moral, like he had this moral high ground. Like he was just he talked about things that were going wrong in the black community, that we need to pull our pants up as black men, stuff like that. But then in the background, he's doing all this crazy stuff, that we don't know about. And he's using his power to corrupt and take advantage of these women. And now he's reaping what he sowed.
Nobody's perfect, and I do think justice was served, and he needs to do the time. No one gets away easily, man.
Yeah.
No one gets away clean. I do still stand by the opinion that there is a difference between Bill Cosby and Heathcliff.
Mm-hmm.
I think Heathcliff as a character, as a symbol, saved a lot of young black men.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby was just the actor.
I can agree with that.
Cosby Show has multiple writers, not just Bill.
Yeah, I say that the moral lessons that were taught, in the Cosby Show are important. Mm-hmm. And I think you can't denigrate that based off of his actions as a person. Because you're right, that did change a lot of outcomes for people. It made black people aspire to something higher, to be doctors, to be middle class, affluent individuals.
Right.
So I can't really, say that that's tarnished, but I hate when people are sort of hypocritical in that sense. You're portraying this character, and you're in real life, you're saying oh, we need to do better as a community, we need to be doing this, doing that. But you're also in the background taking advantage of people. It makes no sense to me. But do you think that his punishment of 3 to 10 years was fair enough?
It's dicey. This I feel like this is justice to the women who were wronged by him. Yeah. At the same coin, it's he's about to die. He might die in prison if he doesn't get parole. I don't know. I feel like it's a fitting sentence for anyone that does that crime, regardless of who they are and what kind of power they have or how old they are. I feel like the crime. I feel like the punishment fit the crime for the most part.
I agree. I think 3 to 10 years, and especially as an 81-year-old man, if he does 10 years, I don't see him making it out.
I don't see that.
Part of me is thinking that they're probably only going to give him 3. I'm sure he's going to be. Yeah. He's going to get off with good behavior, whatever.
He seems like he might be an OJ case. He might just be the most model citizen in prison and get out less than half of his sentence later.
Hey, imagine your cellmate being Bill Cosby though.
Right.
I wonder how that conversation is. It's hey Bill, what's up? Can we after this? Are we cool? We friends? No, I couldn't imagine, man. I'm sure he's like a celebrity in there. I'm sure. I'm sure that
OJ was a celebrity. They loved OJ.
Yeah.
He's so nice. I'm they probably saying the same about Bill.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But you know what? Some positive news though. The police officer who shot Laquan McDonald in Chicago.
Yeah.
He was sentenced to second-degree murder. I'm not sure how many years he's facing. But that was justice for that family, though. That was
At
really
least he was sentenced, you know.
yeah. He
That
was yeah.
takes us this long to see a change in those, kind of cases. You know what I mean? I mean, we've seen this before, but mostly you get off. Or
Yeah.
You just get fired. But, it's good that he was sentenced.
I mean, does this give you hope that in the future, if something like this happens, that the police officers involved or whoever involved will be reprimanded for it? Like,
I mean, I'm always an optimist for humanity, you know what I mean? But, I mean, sometimes humanity lets me down. Well, most of the time.
All the time.
Most of the time humanity lets me down. But I'm always an optimist, man. I mean, we've come a long way. I know there's always going to be setbacks, but there's always going to be, progressive movements. So, yeah, half and half.
I mean, I guess we've come a long way, but it's still kind of sad that, there was still debate about his intentions. Like, he shot the guy 16 times, and he was nowhere near him. He was like 10 or 15 feet away from him. I think he was high off a PCP. He had a knife on him. But that doesn't justify someone shooting you 16 times.
Right.
And so I think that I'm happy. I'm happy that the family can finally, have that justice that they were seeking. I'm happy that we are finally in a place where we don't have to protest anymore about this particular situation. But I'm fearful that it won't end. I mean, it's going to continue. Police brutality and
I find myself going back to this movie, Blind Spotting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, if you haven't seen this movie, I'm not really going to ruin anything for you, but there's a scene where there's a main character and there's a police officer who wrongfully shot a black man, and they're in the basement of the police officer's house. Yeah. And the main character spits like a free rhyme about how he's frustrated as being a stranger in his own city. It's, his city is gentrified. Yeah. It's still racially divided. So it's bad on both sides. So that powerful scene alone, I feel like that's our frustration in one scene.
That is true. But yeah, that was a really good movie.
It's a very good movie.
That makes me mad. And I guess we can get to this in a different segment with your segment, the 2 cents. But I'm excited to see the movie.
The Hate You Give.
The Hate You Give.
I still got to read the book before I see it.
Yeah, it looks good. I got to see that one. But I mean, that's all that I have for my segment. Let's move on to your 2 cents.
My 2 cents, I haven't really watched anything, but it's more so about the aftermath of the last episode. So I hope Nicole calls in. God bless her. So me and her, man, I feel like with my 2 cents, my moral to this story I'm about to tell is that friends will do the most for you. Mm-hmm. If they really care about you, they'll do the most. So we ended the episode, and I had to go to Main Street.
Yeah.
I had to go to GameStop to buy our mutual friend Benny a gift card for his birthday. Shout out to Benny.
Benny.
Yeah, so we drove to Main Street. I had to park somewhere up there. And she was like, I think that was really bad. I think I did bad.
No.
I was like, Nicole, no, it wasn't bad. It was different, but it wasn't bad.
Right.
Like you're good. She's like, I don't know, man. Everybody has their niche. You got hip hop, Shayna got movies, and Randy got current events. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. You gotta remember, she's still a little drunk. Right. So I'm trying to console a drunk person. So I'm trying to get her back down to the tipsy stage. Right. So we get to walking on Main Street. And I'm like, let's just change the subject. Let's talk about work. I don't want to talk about work. Hey, I work near here. You want to see where I work?
Did you walk to her job?
Well, I mean, yeah. She works off of Main Street.
Oh, okay.
So we went to GameStop, then we went to Main Street, and it was just a funny day, man. Like it was a fun day between us. Like when we were walking back, multiple times she would yell out, Wakanda forever. And
she's silly.
I saw a few black people walking past, and they would look at her, they would look at me, and then they would look at the both of us and be like, okay, we get it. we know what that is. Right.
Hey, did she do the little hand signal?
Nah, she just pushed her hands out like she was free, like my man's in the Creed video.
Can you? Oh, right. My God.
So she finally went and bought me a T-shirt.
Oh.
So we went to a T-shirt store on Main Street, and it said 313 on it in brick letters, and she's like, "That is so you." So we got in the car and we started driving to her house. I was driving her home, and I was using Siri on the GPS because I'm trying to get directions back to her house. And she's like, "You want me to just tell you where to turn so we don't have to listen to that bitch talk?" So she's in the tipsy stage now. So she's a little.
So she's coming down a little bit,
right,
slightly.
Right. So I'm like, okay, I'll entertain you. Tell me how to get to your house. So this is 11 Mile, right?
Yeah.
We going down 11 Mile, and we keep going. I make a turn at some point, and she's talking on the phone with her friend. I'm like, okay, at any point, tell me when to turn
Right.
again. It's like, just go straight. We end up at 8 Mile and Woodward.
Seriously?
So I'm like, okay, where I go from here? Homegirl looks around.
She lost.
I don't know where we are, man. So I gotta turn Siri back on my phone to get her back home.
Oh, my God.
So finally, we get back to her house. And I'm like, okay, Nicole, take your tipsy ass inside and go to bed. She's like, yeah, man, I really like that shirt on you, man. I kind of want to see that on you. I'm like, all right, you'll see it on me one day.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I kind of want to see it on you before I go inside.
Did she make you go change in the car?
I'm like, Nicole, like, we in the car having this conversation. I'm like, Nicole, go inside and go to sleep. She's like, man, I need to see you with that shirt on, man.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, all right, step outside while I put it on. So she stepped outside the car. Speaking about the Cosby Show, you know when Denise made that shirt for Theo and it was too tight.
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
It was like it was tight on him.
Right, a little muscle. Yeah.
So I had to put this little ass shirt over my sweatshirt.
Looking like.
So I'm stepping outside the vehicle, looking uncomfortable with this tight ass shirt on, while this ginger hair white girl is clapping her hands with amusement.
Yeah, but people were looking like, oh, hold on, what's going on here?
Exactly. So I'm trying to talk through gritted teeth, like, it looks great, thanks.
Hey, she needs to explain herself. Nicole, call in. Where are you?
No, she don't need to explain herself. But I'd be like, all right, I'd give you a hug, but I don't think my arms can move that far.
Oh, my
So
God.
I got to get out of here. So needless to say, she couldn't make it. But
Yeah.
in a way, that was her spending the day with me without telling me, hey, I won't be able to make it to your thing tonight.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's what I mean. Friends do the most for you. So
That is hilarious.
Shout out to Nicole.
Nicole is seriously hilarious though, and the segment she
Yes.
did 2 weeks ago, I liked it.
you re-listen to it?
Yeah, I did. It was interesting. I mean, it was interesting. It was different. It was unique, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to do that like with everyone getting drunk and not just
Yeah.
because it'd make it a little bit. It'd make it more. I don't know. Make it different. but man, that was a good story. Did you see? So do you see any Netflix shows? Anything?
Yeah, I told you I've been watching Maniac on Netflix. That's pretty.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's pretty good, man. I like that, man. That's it's many things in one. It's a drama about two people. One has been labeled schizophrenic. The other one has issues with her younger sister being killed. And they kind of have a connection, and they meet each other through different. It's 3 pills. One pill is to relive a traumatic moment. The other pill is like for behavioral stuff, and the C pill is like for confrontation.
Oh.
So they become different people through each pill, and it's pretty good, man. I like it. Emma Stone and Jonah Hill did their thing.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at some of the trailer for it. It looked interesting. I might have to take a look. I mean, at first I was like, I don't know if this is quite my taste.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I watched this show on Netflix. It's called Explain, and so each week it's like a weekly series, and each week it touches on a different subject. So whether music, the gender gap, stuff like that. This week I was looking at one that talked about the water crisis, like the global water crisis, and I didn't really realize how stark of a situation we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so only 1% of the world's water is drinkable, right? And obviously you have 7 billion people on the planet. So countries such as like South Africa, Saudi Arabia, they're having water shortages. For us in the Great Lakes region, we take it for granted because we have a lot of water. We have the largest fresh water in the world. And so I'm like, man, this is a serious crisis. In the next 20, 30 years, some of these countries are going to use up all of their water and their resources. So that got me thinking, like, what can we do to sort of make ourselves more aware of the situation? Because for me, I mean, I just don't see it. Like, for me, it's just like we have a plentiful water over here. And I failed to sort of step outside of my life and look at other people's situations and like, all right, if I'm in South Africa right now, they're pretty much, they can only drink a certain amount or use a certain amount of water per day. And it's kind of scary to think, man, because you think of water like we just have so much of it, but it's not the truth. It's just a really valuable resource. So with that being said, like what can we do to change this? Like what can we And I'm thinking maybe for us in our daily situations, just awareness, general awareness, making people.
I think the first step is awareness. I think the second step is conserving. Trying to conserve.
It's hard though, because water is we use it for every single thing, and they were showing how even the meats that we eat, obviously, in order to feed the cows and cattle, they have to use water in order to grow the vegetation. But it's hard because we use it in every single thing is cheap, and so therefore, the cheaper it is, the more that we think that we can just sort of use it. And
I feel like there's no church in the wild, man. I feel like we gotta move the way we gotta move, and it's on an individual basis. Because some people are ignorant, and some people they like, and not ignorant as in like rude. Ignorant as in they just straight up just don't know any better.
That's true.
Like the salmonella thing. There's been recalls on like dozens of beef products, more than dozens of beef products.
It's crazy. It's crazy. That's scary.
I got this thing the other day from the market called grass-fed ground beef.
Grass-fed. Okay.
So basically, it means that the cow was grass-fed and supposedly, they weren't, mishandled or put in like a cage with like a bunch of other cows where they could, get a disease or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I feel like a responsible person now. And like, non-GMO, non-genetically modified organisms. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, I mean, it's beef.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, am I eating healthy or am I just eating something that's bad for me, but it's just, like, it's less bad than other bad stuff?
Right. Like, yeah, beef is bad regardless.
Or, like, you look at cereal, it says non-GMO. I'm like, really? Lucky Charms says non-GMO?
Like, what is this? This is not a marshmallow. What is this little sugar thing? Cute.
Wow. That concern I never had in my mind is finally gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's doing the most. It's doing the most.
I mean, that topic is kind of interesting because, like, we consume a lot of things on a daily basis.
I'm getting tired of hearing about non-GMOs. My girl talks to me about non-GMOs.
And I'm like, it's going to kill us anyway, right? So, I mean, does it matter?
We're going to die anyway. That's the main thing.
I mean, but, all right, so how conscious are you now? So it sounds like you're taking the steps of sort of being more conscious, like health conscious.
I mean,
but does it matter?
I'm taking the steps, but I'm asking myself, does it matter?
Doesn't matter. I mean, to an extent. I think that living healthier lives, I mean, obviously there's going to be benefits to it. You can sort of hopefully avoid some of the diseases that kill people on a daily basis. But ultimately, we're all going to die. So it's like.
Check this out, man. I had a choice between green seedless grapes and organic grapes. Now, I got the organic grapes.
Yeah.
It didn't taste right, man. And I don't mean the kind of grapes you leave in the fridge for about a week and then you taste them. It's like, oh, they're not that juicy anymore. I mean, like, it just straight up did not taste right.
Ugh.
I got the green seedless grapes, tasted normal.
Right. This tastes like a grape.
What does that tell you?
And I'm sure you paid like $3 more for the seedless or for the organic than you did for the seed.
Like, I'm paying $3 more for something that tastes like trash.
It makes no sense, man. And I think part of me thinks that this is sort of a marketing ploy just to get more people to buy it. Because they know, like, it's no difference. Like, you feed between grass-fed and sort of corn-fed, it really makes no sense. It's no difference.
Well, I mean, the treatment of the cows makes a difference. I can't lie on that. But, like, what really makes a grape organic besides a regular grape? I mean,
I don't know. Maybe they don't add any chemicals or pesticides.
What are you growing it next to the cows? Growing it next to the tomatoes? I don't get it. Like,
I mean, but I think it's important because I have friends out there who are vegan and they really are, conscious about the way animals are treated and the way things are grown.
No, I understand.
I can understand that, but at the end of the day, I'm like, ultimately, I'm just trying to nourish my body. I just want to eat something. I'm hungry. I want a burger.
Right. Like, I'm irresponsible. I get it, and you could call us in a way cannibals. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, humans eat meat.
Right.
Although I was a vegetarian for like 5 months though, so
did you like it?
I tried. It wasn't bad. I actually felt a lot better, giving up meat for a while. I think it's sort of like a natural cleanse.
Okay.
And so what I did was I ate some meat substitute. So every once a week I have like the fake chicken nuggets, which aren't really chicken, it's more like soy and other stuff.
Is that from McDonald's?
No, it's a good brand called Morningstar. You should check it out, man. They have some decent products, and I think every once in a while we need to cleanse ourselves from the meat. I think it does reset us a little bit.
I need to go back to this. I had like a great salad dressing from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
And I would just like eat salads in my job's cafeteria, and I would save meat for the weekends, and it felt good.
Yeah, like just moderation.
Yeah.
First off, you shop at Trader Joe's, man. You bougie. Trader Joe's.
Well, I mean, my girl put me onto that place, but when I went there, it had like some great salad dressing, so I just been getting that from there.
Man, Trader Joe's and that other one, what is it called? Whole Foods, man. Those places are expensive. Like, I went there the other day, and I went to get like one of the lunches. They had like a little lunch section where you get like the hot foods, and it was like something like $8 per pound of what you had. I'm like, I ended up like had like a little bit of chicken and macaroni or something like that. It came out to like $16.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this makes no sense. I can go to the corner store, get some chicken and macaroni at the liquor store for
Right.
$5. It's kind of upsetting that we were making healthy foods so expensive and inaccessible, to a lot of people.
You're twisting the knife, man. I think like consumer culture, we twist the knife.
Yeah.
And if you're a fan of something, I understand. Like, I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad. If you know me, you know that's my favorite series. So when Breaking Bad, the complete series, came out in the barrel, they had like an opening script from the creator of the show, Vince Gilligan, that says, "Look, we all know consumerism is a whore." And I had to fall to the whore called commerce and give y'all this box set. But I was a fan. I was happy to have that.
Yeah.
If you're having just any regular schmo that's never seen the show buy that, it's kind of looking like, hey, man, you just fell into the trap. You're not even a fan.
It's true. I mean,
I wish I would buy one of these Star Wars Steelbook Blu-rays, and I don't even watch the movie that much.
I mean, in that case, I understand it's a business, right? So you got to make money. You got to do it.
Right.
But in the sense of providing healthy foods for people, I think healthy food should be a right. I think everyone should have access to healthy, vegetables, fruits, things of that such. I don't think you should be able to charge people excessive amounts of money for this stuff, because that's what we're having so many food droughts in these urban cities. They're food deserts where the only thing you can find is McDonald's, Burger King's, Wendy's, within a 1 mile radius, and you got to go, 10 miles to get to the grocery store. And so that stuff right there is increasing obesity, increasing, disease and death in a lot of our urban communities. And these corporations like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, yes, they may open up a store in Detroit, but it's downtown Detroit, the middle of Midtown, where people don't go.
I mean, look, man, if everyone cared and nobody cried, if everyone loved and nobody died, we'd see the day nobody died. You know what I mean?
Man, look,
but
this.
life can't be a Nickelback song, man. Come on now. See how I got you? See how I got you?
Oh my God! Hey, that was a good lyric though. That fit.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall though, we gotta do better with the way that we're consuming and making food accessible. That's all I kind of wanted to bring up in this point. And today is a free topic, so we are flowing pretty well right now.
Yeah. I'm proud of us, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know how it would be if Nicole didn't call in.
Oh, that's cool. It's cool.
But
Any topics you got in mind? Because I just wanted to like briefly go on that point because.
Well, I mean, with Whole Foods, man, it's a little controversial. I mean, my mom got some fruit from that place, and it kind of upset her stomach. Like nothing is confirmed. Nothing is definite. You know what I mean? Like Whole Foods, just because it has that label on it doesn't mean like it's special.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to see like the behind the scenes process. I need to go to their factories, see how they growing and producing these foods, where they getting it from.
I mean, if you go searching for something, man, you'll find it, and you might not like what you find.
I mean, but that's the way you got to do it, though. The investigative journalism. You got to go to the source. But ultimately, though, when I'm looking at healthy options, or when I'm looking at healthy eating for myself, I'm essentially just changing small routines, like just the daily things in my life. So whether that's drinking less pop, whether that's eating more salads, things of that such. I don't think you necessarily have to buy these organic products and sort of invest all your money into these brands. When you just make those small little daily changes in your life that I think are more helpful down the line.
You become a little self-obsessive. Like, is it organic? Is it organic? Yeah. That's how I feel sometimes with movies. Like, is it Blu-ray? Is it HD?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it if it's not Blockbuster. You know how I be. You know how I be when allegedly you walk up to the bootleg man. I don't want to watch it if it's not Blockbuster.
Allegedly.
When did we get bourgeois about that, man? I mean, like, it's free movies.
That's because we like our brand names in America. That's just Americanism right there. We like certain brands, and we like our the convenience of it. We want stuff that is easily accessible. We want things that look good, that's appealing.
We've been spoiled, man. I feel like we've been spoiled over the years. Like even with cable,
Yeah.
you see that. I feel like America's spoiled. You see that that commercial with the little girl that's telling the kids. You know, back when I was watching cable, we could only watch it in one room.
Yep.
We didn't have multiple DVRs. The kids keep switching from one room to the next, trying to ignore her, trying to watch it in the cabin, watch it downstairs. You know.
In our quest to make things easier, we become so complacent. You know, we become so lazy.
I really think we're gonna end up like those people in Wall-E, man.
Seriously, like just
fat
sitting there?
people in the seats that's just eating and like taking a shit at the same time.
Yes, man.
That's horrible.
No, but when I go to like places, you know, when I was in the UK or when I went to Toronto, Canada recently, they don't watch TV like we do. You know, sometimes their television is a little bit different. Like it's mainly just like you know, local news or they don't have all the TV show options that we have. And I think Americans like that, we are seeing like the death of our culture because of that. Like we are so consumed in consumerism that it's just ridiculous right now.
Please tell me it's the kind of place where after like 8 o'clock they just show the national flag anthem and then the TV just goes off the air.
No, when I was in England, man, the television shows were trash. I didn't even watch television because it was just
really Downton
garbage.
Abbey. I heard that's pretty good.
I mean,
Sherlock.
when I was there, they didn't have all this. It was like 2000 and when did I go there? 2009, 2010. They may have had Downton Abbey in
Yeah, some
2010.
lackluster stuff.
Yeah, it was just like, man, I wasn't feeling it because like our options are so much better. We got ESPN, you know, we got all of like the 500 different channels. For them, they had like 10 channels, and I'm like, all right.
I remember there was this great Daily Show skit back when Steve Carell was on there, and he was doing a story where people would watch this burning log.
Seriously?
Like they seriously just watch a burning log, and it was like controversial in the town.
my
Like some
God.
guy was like, "I don't like it. It makes no sense. You know, I want them to take it down." And Steve Carell's just sitting there like, "Why am I doing this story? Why is this even a story?"
Wait, was it like during the holidays with the Yule logs and all that stuff? And
I think it was just a straight up show where you watch the
Just to
burning
watch
log. B.
oh my God, what in the world? I need to see what channel was this? I need to,
I don't know, man. I think it was a local thing.
man, but I feel like so the guy was just outraged over that. Just
Yeah.
oh
But
my
I
God,
feel like let's talk about excess for a second.
yeah,
You ever feel like if you gain a lot of money from the lottery or whatever that you kind of want to be a little reckless?
yeah.
Like my friend, he has a dream. If he gets money and he doesn't have to work again, he would try to pay for some commercial spots on a public access channel. Like he'd have one ad where it's just somebody knocking on the door really loudly for like 5 seconds, and then it just goes off.
What?
Then he'd get another ad where he's just looking around for like 2 minutes, not saying anything.
Right, and that's it.
Then he looks at the camera and says, "Oh, hi," and then that commercial's over.
And like, what is the brand? What is the what are you selling? Like nothing. It's just
But the best idea I heard from him, and like I can understand how this would be great, is how you'd have like an advertisement on the I-75 highway or somewhere where people are going to work, and you show him sleeping while the text underneath it reads, "Take your ass to work."
so what's the point of this? Just to show how much money he has? You can just get these commercials for no
Just
reason.
to troll on humanity, man. Like I love it. Like if he does it, I'm gonna be his biggest fan if he pulls that off.
Man, if I were to have that much money, I'm buying. Oh, first off, I'm buying a little island somewhere where I can just chill, don't have to worry about nothing, nobody. I'm for sure just probably gonna travel the world for like half the year, and then after that, I'm chilling. I ain't doing nothing.
I wouldn't mind going straight up Henry Thoreau, just being in the woods like Walden.
Seriously, why? Why?
What you mean, why?
That doesn't sound fun. Who wants to be in the woods?
Well, I mean, like, you know, I'd have a family and stuff, and I'd take them to school to interact with other kids. But
Yeah.
I mean, like my children, but there's something good about being away from, you know, other people a little while, you know, taking in nature. I'm not talking about straight up living in a tent.
Okay, that's
but
all right.
you know
I
what
was
I'm
thinking.
saying? Like,
So you saying that like so create you a nice cabin in the woods,
Right,
like build you one, you know, got all the amenities, but you just sort of isolated from everybody else.
right, just chilling.
Okay, I could see that.
Nicole knows what I'm talking about. She always talks about the lake house.
But I think it's something about. I know lake houses are beautiful. I would definitely live on a lake for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it is something about disconnecting yourself from the world that is beneficial. It's a reset. You know, I think we get wrapped up a lot of times, and it becomes sort of redundant. Our lives become just so boring and just redundant. You know.
I mean, that can be life, though. I mean, you gotta deal with the boring parts, because it's the boring parts you're gonna remember when you're going through so much. Like,
Really?
man, I liked it when everything was calm.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, no, well, kind of. So you won't remember work. Like, obviously, like, the days you work, I'm like, I don't remember what I did 2 weeks ago at work.
You won't remember work, but you remember when things were calm and you were in control compared to times where it's chaos and you're trying to get a grip. That's what I'm saying. The monotony, you got to savor it sometimes. You can't savor it all the time because it's monotony, but sometimes you got to savor it.
I think there's some times in our lives where you need some excitement. You need some, something to get your juices going. And so that's why you see those guys on the midlife crisis, buying motorcycles, jumping out of airplanes like Will Smith jumped out of airplane on this.
Right. But he's Will Smith though. He can do that.
I don't get it though.
I mean, that's something fun for him to do, man. I mean, I'm sure he's probably done it before, maybe not like that to that extent, but I'm sure he's probably, that's Independence Day right there.
So have you ever had like a crisis in your life, like when you turn 25?
I'm young, man. I'm not mid yet.
No, that 25. That's when you hit 25. There's a crisis, I think.
Dude, I just hit 25. Don't curse me.
I'm telling you, man. It comes. Randy, I'm sure Randy can attest. When you hit 25, don't you feel like, shoot, I need to get my life together? Like there needs to be.
I'm all right, man.
I still feel like that now at 35.
I'm telling you. But I swear, when I hit 25, I was looking like, all right, I'm 5 years from 30. What am I doing right now?
I'm all right, though. I mean, look. I kind of had a little bit of a crisis in my head, like, well, dang, man, is this all there is?
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen next? But then I realized, I'm ahead of the curve, man. I'm doing.
Yeah, you are.
I'm right where I need to be right now.
But I think there's a point in our lives where we come to accept that this is our life. Like this is what we're gonna. This is as much as well, wouldn't necessarily as much as
you
we're
can
gonna
always
attain.
no. You can always happen.
That.
Success doesn't have an age.
That's true.
Like if this isn't success to you, success doesn't really have an age. Like you can still do what you need.
Because
to
what
do.
Oprah was what 30 something when she first got on.
Even looking at well, she's not really her protege, but her buddy, Ava DuVernay, who made Selma. You know what age she was when she made that movie. Success doesn't have an age.
Yeah, but I think in our minds, or at least what we see on television, we're seeing the younger people, coming up, getting big.
Right.
And it kind of like in your mind, you're like, oh, shoot, I think I missed it.
Well, no. I mean, sometimes, God smiles down on you at different stages of your life. It could be at 40, it could be at 30. Ryan Coogler, God smiled down on him at a young age where, I think it was his teacher that read a story he made. His girlfriend bought him a Final Draft, which is a screenwriting software. Mm-hmm. He bought the Pulp Fiction screenplay and wrote, Fruitvale Station, as well as other things. But, it's different people, man. It's different stages in different people's lives where they get the God smile.
So do you think that do you think it's unique to Americans or just to society that we always kind of judge ourselves based off of other people's success? I think it's a common thing,
Yeah, I mean, when it's out there and in your face, of course you're going to do that. When you see, like, The Social Network and see how, even though that film's not entirely true, how, what's my man, Mark Zuckerberg made it big. You don't have to be a 20-something millionaire, though.
Right.
Like, your life isn't over if you don't become a millionaire in your 20s or in your 30s. I mean, success has no age.
I need to hit this million, man, before 30. I'm trying. But
you'll be okay either way, though.
Yeah, that's true. My life would be perfect. But I think we also equate success with money, and it's not always the case as well.
Right.
Yes, money will make your life comfortable for sure, but ultimately the success is about the happiness, the people in your lives, the relationships you build. But it's just easier for us to get caught up in titles and perceptions of glamour and glitz and all that stuff.
I think more money, more problems. It solves a lot of problems, but then there's other problems you never had when you were broke. That come when you rich.
Like the IRS.
You look at that tax bracket, you're like, hold up, man, this is half of my paycheck right here.
And that's why it's hard with like these young athletes, man. They all end up broke because
you get that $1 million advance. You should spend $500,000 and leave the rest alone.
For real. But they also have agents they got to pay. They got anything that was given to them early, like limos or trips. That stuff comes out of there.
I mean, hopefully they know by now. There's been a lot of cases of athletes, blowing their money away and not knowing about, Uncle Sam and stuff like that. Hopefully they know by now.
I mean, but the difficulty is that when you got these kids who are just straight out of poverty, like these kids, some of them straight out the hood, now they're 18, 19 playing in the NBA or the famous rapper.
You're going to be more than a little reckless.
Right.
Everyone's going to be a little reckless when they get money. Everybody. But more than a little reckless is something.
I don't think Zuckerberg was. No, I'm sure he was reckless.
I'm sure reckless.
I'm sure.
Like we got to define reckless in different terms here. Yeah. It could be paying for a lot of memorabilia or something like
Right.
that, or stuff like that.
But recklessness can also it can lead to good things though. Think about what they
Maybe.
say what's the old adage? Success favors the bold or something like that. Yeah.
Probably so.
And so sometimes you gotta make some moves.
You gotta make the jump. Like
Yeah.
at some point, if you find yourself having to relocate from Michigan or wherever you are, you gotta make
Yeah.
the jump. At least
Yeah.
see if it's going to work.
And I think that's the biggest fear that people have, like being uncomfortable. It's hard. Because like for instance, if I was a musician or an actor, and like you said, making that move to LA, giving up your comforts of home, giving up your family, things you have established for an uncertainty, that's scary.
It's scary, but you always got the chance to bounce back.
Yeah.
I believe people kind of forget that you have the chance to bounce back. If you figure, okay, I went out there, it wasn't for me, you can always come back home or find a new home. People
guess.
kind of like don't wonder about. People kind of like don't like try to figure out what could happen afterwards, like life after. Why you say I guess?
Well, I think in some situations, because everyone's situation isn't the same. For instance, like if you broke the ties that you had at home, you left out of anger or something happened where
Yeah.
you sever those connections, you can't go back home. You're kind of stuck.
But you could still make a new home, though. Like, let's imagine if Taraji P. Henson, I believe the story was she went to L.A. with $700 and her son. Let's say she didn't make it. I'm sure she had a home to fall back on, or
Yeah,
could make,
or
or
had
could,
people.
or could still make a new home in L.A. There's always a life after.
Yeah.
You tried it out, it didn't work out. Well, then you can try to find new avenues. I like that. I'm an optimist.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to look at it. And especially when we're on this planet for a short period of time, I think you really do got to make the most out of
Lift
what
it
you're
up,
given.
man. Make the jump. You don't
Yeah.
want to be the person that tells your kids, "Well, I had a dream to, but I never took the jump to." You don't want to be that person.
I know. Imagine if MLK was like, "Nah, I'm not going to do this. It's too much. It's
I
too
could have
hard."
been a speaker one day.
That is true, and I
Your
think
mama Coretta, no. Like, come on.
Yeah, but that is kind of sad. 'Cause there could be hundreds of thousands of people who could have made an impact on this world in a positive way if they would have just took that chance, and made that leap of faith. But it's a
gotta
scary
do
one.
it, man.
It's a scary one to make, and I understand why people are afraid to do it. But you're right. Sometimes you got to let that fear go.
Well, that separates the bold from the careful. You can still be careful and bold. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh yeah, making wise decisions like
but
as you move. Yeah,
you got to be bold at some point.
man. I mean that's deep, and it's the truth.
Yeah.
But I also think that when you're dealing with people who don't have an understanding of sort of what their decisions or what the repercussions may be of that decision, because again, you can go out to L.A., but if you go out there and like, oh shoot, I don't even got a house, I don't got nowhere to live out there, you're probably gonna be homeless.
Well, no, I mean, there's apartments. You gotta like, you gotta be realistic about that. People ain't just gonna go homeless.
But some people aren't realistic about their decisions, man. I've seen some kids when I was working.
Well, I mean, though go ahead.
And I was about to say, when I was working in the schools, man, kids would be making decisions about their lives without even thinking about it. Like, have you thought about what could potentially happen by making this choice or doing this? So I think you have to give it some. You have to give the due diligence. You have to go through. All right, what are the plan A, plan B, plan C if this doesn't go right?
Right. Well, of course, before you make the jump, you gotta make certain. You gotta make sure your parachute is good. You gotta make sure your landing strip
Make sure
is good.
the safety backup parachute
right.
is good.
That's
yeah.
the stuff. That's called common sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I assure you, Taraji P. Henson has some kind of plan to have some kind of job to keep her and her son good while she was trying to be an actress.
You already know. And
You
the
know
same
what I
thing with
mean?
all of them.
That's common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody's a Tyler Perry though, living in the back of their car. I mean, I'm sure Tyler Perry probably had like regular jobs on the side and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure he had like some kind of plan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Real quick, but did you hear about the guy from the Cosby Show, the one who was working at Trader
Jeffrey
Joe's?
Owens?
Jeffrey Owens. What do you
Yeah.
think about that whole story, this situation?
I mean, like, you got to hustle out here, man. I mean, I didn't particularly like so my whole thoughts about the thing is, I mean, people always have that joke, there's always work at the post office. And that's true, man. When the acting gigs aren't working, not every actor is making bank like Ben Affleck, man. They got to work in the off season. Like football players, basketball players that don't have endorsements,
That's
you
true.
got to work. So from what I hear, Trader Joe's has some good benefits. So
Hey,
I wasn't mad at him. But then, Tyler Perry reached out and, Jeffrey Owens took the job. And I'm like, well, that's what he wants to do, acting. So why not? I just don't like the Vlad interview I saw with Lil Boosie. Well, I guess they just call him Boosie now. Where Vlad was kind of hating on him. And I'm
Why?
like, Vlad, just be an interviewer. Be
wait, what did he say? What did he say in particular?
Well, Boosie, me and you, I know when we be like 50 or 60, we ain't gonna be working no Trader Joe's because we're not just gonna be relying on residual money from the Cosby Show. We'll be smart about our thing. And I'm like, Vlad, you know better. Like, you don't see Katie Couric doing an interview with Lindsay Lohan, or better yet, doing an interview with Jennifer Lawrence hating on Lindsay Lohan while talking to J-Law. It's like you don't see people doing stuff like that. And I thought that was a bad move on Vlad's part. That disappointed me.
Yeah, that's not a good look. Plus, you don't know people's situations as well. So it's hard to judge him in the decision. At least he's doing something. He was doing something to make sure that he could survive, feed his family, all that. So you can't hit on a man's decision to work at Trader Joe's.
Right.
Because he's hustling.
And that's another thing about, being comfortable. Now, I'm not saying Jeffrey Owens was just being comfortable, but some people, they become comfortable. They be like, okay, I had this one hit. I don't have to do anything else. But it's like, you still got to hustle a bit.
And it kind of brings up the sense of like almost like elitism in terms of employment, like what people think are good jobs. And honestly, any job where you're able to feed your family, survive, whatever you need to do, get good benefits, whatever that is, it's a job. Take it. Right.
I feel like real success with me, it doesn't come with, being an accomplished writer or anything like that. It comes with having my family, having my house, my picket fence, my man cave, and I can call myself king.
Yeah.
That's really all I need.
That's it, man.
Everything else falls in place.
And it's also, man, it's just you have to commend people who are willing to, because he was on television at one point in time. He could have been like, man, I'm not working I ain't doing this. No, I'm trying to be an actor out here. So you got to commend someone who took that step and they're like, you know what? I just need to do what I got to do.
It's what it is.
It is what it is. Because that's something where a lot of people be like, nah, they turn their nose up to it. Like, no, a job is a job. And if it's there to at least give you something to do while you're looking for other employment, go for it.
Or it could have been he probably couldn't find work. Maybe he was actively out here hustling, but he couldn't find work. Maybe he didn't. Maybe Tyler Perry wasn't really on his radar at the time. Maybe he was coming up,
I mean, one issue, though, I have, not saying that his whole situation was he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying that. One issue is I think that we always kind of glorify these stories, and then someone comes in and just sort of saves that person or gives them a job.
Like the savior. Like Elon Musk with the Flint water crisis.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing that Elon Musk is doing that. It's a great thing that Tyler Perry reached out. I don't know, man. I don't look at it as the savior thing. I could see how that criticism could come through, but I mean, why not be the savior? Why not be the saver?
I mean, but we always kind of highlight these stories, like these one-offs, and then people think it's the norm. Like, oh, if I just get, recorded doing this, or someone highlights my story of me walking 10 miles to work, I'm going to get a job or I'm going to get a new car. But it's so unrealistic in many cases. Like, these are one-off stories where they were somehow captured and videotaped.
But if you can get that retrieve, why not go for it?
I guess.
That's like the Undercover Boss ending. Like, you always got the one employee saying, I take a scooter to work, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got a daughter in private school. I'm taking a scooter to work, and,
Here's a new car.
Right, here's a new car. Here's a new house. We'll pay for your daughter's tuition. Then they get the breakdown episode where they start crying and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that's not unrealistic, but we've seen a lot of it.
I know, but it's just, I'm upset because it's showing people, well, first off, these people worked hard in their situations, so I'm not going to denounce what they've been doing or what they've been through. So I can't say that. But it's also, we continue to highlight these stories and make it seem like it can happen to anyone. Sometimes it just takes the right place at the right time. Sometimes it's just like, the stars aligned and this happened. And I think people are going to purposely do this so they can sort of get that recognition, right? Without actually not saying truly earned it, but they'll be doing it for the recognition as opposed to just working hard and being a hardworking person, right? So that's my biggest issue, pet peeve with it. Maybe I'm being,
Well, look, no, it's understandable if you're being like pessimistic or just being a little too careful about it, because that happens, and you do need to be realistic with yourself. But at the same time, why not make risk when you're young?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm very pessimistic today. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't want to be a pessimist.
Well, it's cloudy outside. That happens.
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's cold. It's getting colder. It's fall. I think my happiness sometimes.
I'm not gonna cut my grass, man. I'm sorry,
don't.
Harper Woods. It's gonna keep raining. I'm not gonna cut my grass.
And plus, I mean, there's gonna be leaves on it in the next couple of weeks anyway.
Right.
Who cares? But man, any other topics you got in mind? Because
I think I'm tapped out. What else you got, man?
I think this has been a great discussion. This is fun.
We actually made it.
We made it.
You and I.
We made it. I like this, man. We got to continue to do these free topics more often because, it's fun and brings up interesting discussion. But, thank you all for listening again. This has been another episode of Can We Talk, and we will talk to you
like,
next
share,
week.
and subscribe.